medal. Nick, who did not miss out on a medal on your podium?
Hey, let's give the Knicks some love. The best team in the tri-state area right now, the New York Knickerbockers. Wow. Julius Randle, 16, 17, and 9. One assist away from a triple-double. Julius Randle in a big win over the red-hot Golden State Warriors. Silver medalist. Hey, listen, Donovan Mitchell. Shaq might think you're no good, but I disagree with him. Donovan Mitchell, 36, 7, and 5 in a win over the Pelicans. He was outstanding. And then, first gold medal of the year, LeBron James. He responds to his first bad game since the first game of the bubble with his best game of the season. Once again, doing his Steph Curry. Not a full turnaround, but a quarter turn. 34, 6, and 8. Controlling every facet of the game in year 18 against the Julius Randle, Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James, Jenna. That's your bronze, silver, and your gold.
All right, that's Nick's top 3 wilds. Your miss the cut moment. Nick, he gave us a nibble. We'll give you a bite. One of the most awkward interviews I've ever seen. Check out this exchange between Donovan Mitchell and Shaquille O'Neal.
Father, this is Shaq. I said tonight that you are one of my favorite players, but you don't have what it takes to get to the next level. I said it on purpose. I want you to hear it. What do you have to say about that?
All right. That's it.
That's it?
All right, that's it.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
I want you to hear it.
I've been hearing, Shaq, I've been hearing that since my rookie year. You know, I'm just going to get better and do what I do.
Good.
At the end of the day.
Well, that's what I want you to hear you say. Love your game, brother. Keep it up.
Appreciate it.
Brandon, I am totally torn on this. One part of me thinks that it's totally cringeworthy and inappropriate, and then I'll have a sip of coffee and say, you know what? He's right. Why aren't we talking about Donovan Mitchell should be a guy who wins an MVP, can be a guy who carries a team to the finals? So I'm totally confused, and you can push me over the edge either way on whether this was good motivation or just kind of petty and weird.
This was a miss here by Shaq, Wilds. I think when you make that move from ball player to full-time analyst, the toughest thing to do is how you talk about other players. And what you saw here was Shaq embracing being a player and Shaq trying to hold him accountable or to challenge him. He should have picked up the phone and had this conversation with Donovan Mitchell. Look at Donovan Mitchell's response to that. That was the most humblest response I've ever seen. He's looking up like, Shaq, I look up to you. You're an idol to me. It's like he absolutely crushed the guy. The guy probably had tears in his eyes when he was walking in the locker room. Shaq shouldn't have done this on air, but what he was also doing was saying, like, I'm challenging you when I'm not talking to you. I just want you to know that
Let me hear.
This is going to be terrible.
Danny Ainge had an opportunity to trade for Tom Brady, but he wouldn't give up Romeo Langford. That's how he ended up on the Bucks. Like, he could have stayed in Boston,
I get it.
but he didn't want to give up Romeo Langford in a future second rounder.
He's holding on
So
to his dynasty. Listen, Red Auerbach, Russell, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, he knows his people. Anyway, any excuse to get Danny Ainge in there, obviously. It's a good one. All right, let's talk some football. NFC title time now. So many storylines here. None sexier than obviously Danny Ainge and also this quarterback matchup. And I'm just talking resumes, not actual guys. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and all the accolades between them. Brandon, it's simple. Who wins on Sunday, Bucks or Packers?
This is going to be a really good game, but the Bucks will win this. And I really believe they have to slow it down. They have to lean on Leonard Fournette. They have to commit to the run game. This is a team all year that we talked about. Who are they? Do they have any chemistry on offense? Do they know what they want to do? Is Bruce Arians calling the plays? Is Tom Brady calling the plays? Tom Brady throwing the ball all over the field. That's something we saw him do, or even down the field. That's not something we saw him do in New England. You saw it last week against the Saints. You know, they came out and they wanted to start throwing the ball. And it wasn't until they settled down, committed to the run, that this offense really started to form and take off. So they have to lean on Leonard Fournette, and they have to be willing to go 4 yards here, 3 yards there, 6 yards there. I think that's the best opportunity because now you're keeping Aaron Rodgers off the field. And, Kevin, there's a few more things here. You got to look at Chris Godwin. That's one of those things that we're not even talking about. The guy has 6 drops in the playoffs. Most receivers have 6 drops in the regular season. This is a phenomenal wide receiver, and he's in a slump right now. He needs to find a way to get out of this slump, out of this funk, because it's going to come down to a few big plays. These wide receivers are going to have their opportunities down the stretch, and Chris Godwin has shown you in the playoffs that sometimes the stage is a little too big. I still believe in this guy, but he needs to come up big when Tom Brady calls his number.
See, I think he will. I think he's going to have a better game than Mike Evans. But I have some news to report, Brandon. I'm an optimist. But as you know, Michael, my raven that looked like a parrot, suffered an untimely death, the hands of a wind turbine. And unfortunately, his evil brother, Theo, this is Theo. And Theo has not taken his brother's untimely death very kindly. And he, instead of keys to winning the game, he has made nightmare fuel, the ways the Bucks can lose the game. Nightmare fuel for the Bucks, courtesy of Theo, the mean Raven, mad at his brother's demise at the hands of a wind turbine. The first piece of nightmare fuel for the Bucks is if Tom Brady misses the deep ball. Tom Brady didn't have a deep pass in 4 of the 5 Bucks losses. And you might say, well, he doesn't throw a lot. Not true. Led the league in touchdowns over 20 yards with 12. Number 2, under pressure. It's not only a great David Bowie song and a Vanilla Ice sample, it's what Tom Brady hates. In every loss, Brady was pressured in over 25% of his dropbacks. He's an old man just like me, does not like to be on the ground. So if they pressure him over 25%, guaranteed loss, according to Theo. Next one, the one that Brian Westbrook hates, abandoning the run. They've lost 4 of 5 games when they ran the ball 20 times or less. So like you said, Brandon, if Leonard Fournette is not involved, take an L for the Bucks, nightmare fuel. And finally, Nick, one near and dear to your heart. The Bucks have lost every game when they can think they're in 5 down territory. If Tom Brady, I like that one. Forgets which down it is again, it's a guaranteed loss. So that's the nightmare fuel that is keeping Tom Brady up tonight on the eve of his big championship game.
Despite the fact that I really, really dislike Theo, and confession to make, it wasn't a wind turbine that killed Michael. It was me. I was sick of him. I thought he'd be gone, but now his brother's here. I think Wilds actually makes good points. I think Brandon also made good points, but I think both of you are ignoring the biggest story here. I shouldn't say ignoring, but haven't addressed the biggest story. And the biggest story is what is on the line for Aaron Rodgers. And that is because there was a moment 6 years ago, almost today, 6 years and 3 days ago, where Aaron Rodgers had, and Jen, I know you love these references, a sliding doors moment in his career. And he went the wrong way with it. It was the NFC Championship game against the Seahawks. The Patriots were already clinched for the Super Bowl. At that moment in time, Tom Brady had 3 rings and had not won a Super Bowl in over 10 years. Rodgers was